Howdy, Holeheads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
On the first episode of our brand new, revamped show, we are no longer on Lester Holt. We are in spirit.
Always.
Of course, but we are now. True Crime Cleanup on ILH, the show where we take an episode of a true crime show, talk about the case they covered and how they covered it. And you know what a new title means, Kateline. A new theme. Hit it! Attention shoppers, we've got a cleanup on ILH.
What the other wolves think?
A true crime cleanup on ILH.
Diabolical.
Starting now.
No, he's telling you that she's bats.
How you feeling about this, Kate? How you feeling?
I feel great.
Tonight we got our sights set on Exhibit A. Excuse me, actually it's not just that, it's Exhibit A. Secrets of Forensic Science. Now, are you familiar with this show, Kateline? Had you ever heard of it? Have you ever partied with Exhibit A?
Never heard of it. Never seen it.
Yeah.
It's old.
It's old. 97. And hosted by Graham Greene, who is an actor that you would recognize, right?
Yeah.
He's in stuff.
He's in everything.
But for 4 years, he was doing some true crime stuff. And it was this excellent show, Exhibit A. You could tell it's right in the pocket for when Forensic Files was rolling around and stuff. Saxophone popping off every chance it gets.
The lady of the house lies brutally murdered.
But it's the Canadian version.
This is a Canadian production through and through.
And I wondered, was Graham Greene just like maybe the biggest celebrity they had living in Toronto? And the team was like, let's get him.
I bet it was.
Wait a minute, I thought that was impossible.
I was trying to, was this a passion project for old Graham Greene? Was he taking Exhibit A to everywhere and he could only get it made in Canada? I feel like it might be your scenario where he's a working actor, he's in town, they're like, we need somebody with a face. What's Graham up to?
This guy is so famous up here. He'll do it. It's a version of him that I don't think we've really seen elsewhere. He's dressed like a lawyer, and the whole time he's in this courtroom set in a full suit.
Yeah.
Very serious.
Very serious, but there's some playfulness in his VO, which I'm sure we'll get to. There are a few lines where he's like, but if I told you that, it'd ruin the case. Right?
As to our Exhibit A, if I showed you, it would give it away.
I knew it was a Canadian show right away when they said, we open up on Remembrance Day. And I said, what the hell is that?
What is that?
Now, I looked it up. Did you already know without looking it up?
No, I'm only familiar with Boxing Day when it comes to Canadian holidays. But Remembrance Day, I have no idea.
Veterans Day.
Oh.
Same day, too. Well, at least it is this year, November 11th. Has something to do with 11s. 11 on 11.
Good, honey.
And I found out this took place in 1992. I'm not sure if the show... Did they say a year for the show? Did they ever say year?
I should know because I watched it twice, but I don't.
You know, I have a synopsis, but I felt like I gave away the good parts. So I'm not going to do it. This is from KMDB. A 64-year-old woman is found beaten to death in her kitchen, but cops are shocked to learn that under the bruises were bullet holes. We open on a house in Toronto.
The victim is Anna Lunt, 67, a German emigre who came to Canada with her husband, Joseph.
This show does the thing where they give you fake names for the victims, real names for the accused. What's the reasoning behind that, you think?
I really don't know. And I don't know if maybe that was just the decent thing to do back in the day, or so they thought. But it makes no sense. Shouldn't the victim be remembered and honored? Instead, we're just going to remember the killer, who's a piece of shit and locked up?
Yeah, that's definitely how it comes across today. And I do wonder if back then it felt like the polite thing to do. But yeah, now we're all about putting a face to the victims and giving them the story.
Yeah, it's about them.
Which is why it's good I can report that the person's name, Anna Lunt, as they called her real name was Iona Petzold. I found it. I looked up the real info.
Iona Petzold?
Yes. And now, in order to find this out, this is why I was questioning whether we do this. I couldn't find jack shit on this case on the internet for one extra step. So much so that I had to sign up to join the Globe and the Mail, which is a Canadian newspaper, okay? I had to give them my info, pay for whatever. Here's the crazy part, Kate. I found one article on it that gave me that name, right? I was like, okay, let me cancel this, get out of the way. I had to call a phone number, Kate. I had to call to cancel. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow. Canadians.
I know. I was like, okay, let's see if this is going to be easy. I go up to the menu and stuff, click on cancel my subscription, and it just says, for questions, call this number. And I'm like, well, I got a question. How can I cancel this without having to talk to somebody? Turns out you couldn't do it. You had to call. And they gave me the hard sell, too. They were like, well, why'd you sign up? You know that you have access to 2 websites. Did you find any information on the other one? And I was like, no. Anyway, So now I've got another month of free Canadian newspapers. But I couldn't believe when I was dialing the number, Kate. I was like, this is absolute insanity.
In 2025, I am dialing a phone number.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Whew. So we open up. Joseph Lunt comes home to find the body of his wife in the kitchen.
The cops show up, and she is deceased. And while they're investigating the scene, their son-in-law shows up.
William Appleton.
And he says he had just been there.
He comes over once in a while because he does like handiwork for him. He had just been there the week before. And he's trying to see the body. And they're like, no, don't do it. We're going to save you. I don't want you to have to see this, William Appleton. Stay outside with us.
The body was so bloodied and battered that Appleton is dissuaded from viewing it.
So they do their thing at the crime scene. They're taking pictures and whatnot. And the first thing they talk about is when they take the body back and they're looking at the wounds and stuff. What do they discover in her wounds?
Well, at first they thought she had just kind of been bludgeoned, like blunt force trauma to the head. A bunch of puncture marks and wounds and bruising. And as they're looking closer, they realize, yes, that did happen. But there are also bullets in her head. And it looks like she was shot and then beaten to hide the fact that she was shot.
Okay, that's what Exhibit A says.
That's what it said.
That's how they present it.
That isn't a thing.
The killer had purposely beaten the victim around the bullet wounds. Why? To hide the fact that she'd been shot at all. Because bullets can be traced.
Well, I've never heard of that before. Like this idea of like, I know I'll beat her to death where I shot her to cover up the bullet wound. Because for one, in every possible scenario they go through in this episode, what they think happened and then what they know happened later, she gets beaten up first in every scenario. So how the hell was he doing that to disguise where she got shot?
That's a great point. It's very confusing VO.
Realizing they were visible from the street, the killer dragged the battered woman into the kitchen where she was shot.
I also don't think someone would do that because they know that an autopsy will find those bullets.
Yeah, and so this confused me because the way that Graham Greene sets it, they've got a criminal mastermind on their hands because he thought, I know, I'm going to beat up with a bullet entry. This is gold. And then his suspicions are furthered when they dig out the bullet. And what's so funny about this bullet?
Well, Kurt, this bullet isn't like most bullets. It has absolutely no markings on it.
Yeah.
The murder had been extremely clever. So much for Exhibit A.
No rifling marks, no striations.
No striations, as if it wasn't even fired from a gun. But we know that's not possible because we can see that it indeed was.
Yeah, and they do. There was... Every once in a while, I like a refresher on the old rifling of a gun and stuff. And they give it to you here, don't they? They got a diagram of a gun. And I thought Graham Greene had a great way to explain it. It's as if when you throw a perfect spiral of a football. That's what the rifling does inside of a gun barrel.
Commercial manufacturers cut spiral grooves into the inside of the barrel to stabilize the bullet, like a well-thrown football.
I actually thought that you picked this episode because of this breakdown.
Why?
Because we often talk about striations, and this really shows it exactly how guns create striations on bullets and what happens when the bullet leaves the chamber.
That's not specifically the reason. I don't blame you for thinking that, but also FF does it a bunch too. So like,
I'm sure
it wasn't that crazy to me. It was kind of like, I know all this stuff, but I did like how they broke it down and stuff. So you're right there. But I just don't want any FF heads out there thinking like I've never seen a scene of them talking about rifling or whatever.
Sure. You don't want the FF heads coming for you.
Yeah, please don't. Please. So they pull out the bullet. There's no striation. So they come to one conclusion, and that is this bullet is from what?
A ghost gun.
A ghost gun, or also a homemade gun.
Wasn't that what they called?
They called it a ghost gun?
Yeah, because there's no serial number. It's not registered. It's like it doesn't exist.
That's what they called it, or is that what Cateline's calling it?
No, I didn't make that up.
Okay, but specifically, it's a homemade gun, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here going, 92, how do you do a homemade gun?
And they show us. And that was also what I thought the reasoning behind you picking this episode was. Because I haven't seen a demonstration of how a homemade gun would operate. And it makes sense. It's pretty basic. But it was cool to see a model and how it fires and stuff.
This I would refer to as the bolt. The part that is moving rearward when I pull this circular ring is the bolt. And It is just a solid, it does not have a firing pin as such.
Yeah, there's like this show, its premise, like it leans into the forensic side of it, and that's why we're loving it. And they do like the classic shooting gun in water and stuff. They showed us that too. And I like how they added the bit where it's like they do it in water because the water won't mess up the rifling. So that's another good little tidbit. I mean, I figured they did it, so it doesn't go everywhere. But also, we do see, now it's not the gun,
No.
but they show us a homemade gun.
It certainly looks like a gun.
It doesn't look like a gun at all, dude.
It doesn't.
It doesn't look like a gun at all.
It's just a firing pin, but it's cool.
Like the best way I can describe how it works is kind of like when you, on pinball, when you pull back the thing to shoot the ball, it's kind of like just that, but in like a little tube. Am I right?
Yeah.
But here's my problem, Kate. They didn't show us. I want to see that homemade gun get used. Shoot a bullet out of that homemade gun.
I feel like that's against, like, their Canadian code.
But we saw the other gun shoot bullets.
They don't want to give people an idea of how to do this at home.
Okay, we see diagrams and everything. But that was my one disappointment there. I was riding high after all this behind the scenes stuff, and I was like, okay, dude, just pull back, let loose. Nope.
No.
Like, it's wild because you have to unscrew the tip to load one bullet, it seems. So how many bullets were in her head? Just the one or multiple?
I thought there were a few.
Exhibit A. Bullets recovered from the body.
Yeah, so did he unscrew it, pop another bullet in there?
Maybe.
That seems kind of crazy.
Maybe he could do more than one at a time. Maybe he had a special chamber.
So now this is where the cops are really thinking, boy, this guy's really trying to hide stuff from us. 1, he beat up the bullet entry point. 2, he used a homemade gun. We can't match it. So then we talk about blood splatter. And you're right, this really was like a 101 episode for a bunch of forensic stuff.
They kept giving us the most basic explanations of everything when it came to police work.
Everything.
Even when it came to like how courtrooms operate and what a trial is. We were getting definitions of everything.
At the trial, the judge commended the whole investigative team.
Yeah, and like, what's wild is this is a tight 22 minutes. I mean, this is a shorty. And yet they're squeezing in a lot of stuff. I mean, they're getting a lot of info in there, Kate.
They are.
They're getting a lot in there. Now, some of the info I don't know if we need. Like, for instance, blood spatter guy. The whole point is there's blood splatter on the door frame by the entry point. So they figure she got beat to death by the door, then was dragged into the kitchen. That's the point of the blood splatter expert. But what was up with the smear test? This was crazy. Like, they had a bunch of homemade signs where it was like smear written in like Sharpie. And he had like fake blood on a napkin and wiped it 3 different ways. What was that? What was going on here?
Well, maybe that was just kind of like blood splatter investigating B-roll. It didn't actually pertain to this case. It just showed how these people figure things out forensically.
Remember when he was like, he did 3 swipes and he's like, you can't tell which direction it's going in the middle one here.
Now the first smear in the middle is quite heavy, and that's quite difficult for me to determine the direction.
But you could see in all 3 because it where the blood is thicker, that's where it starts and then it goes away. I mean, this was, I don't know, I didn't need to be a forensic biologist, as they call them. That must be a Canadian term too.
Oh yeah, that's gotta be. Man, whenever my husband and I see an actor in something that we don't really know who they are, but they kind of look like another more well-known actor, we say that's like the Canadian version of the actor that's more well-known.
Gotcha.
And I feel like that goes for a forensic biologist, the Canadian version of a criminologist, or it's just it's slightly off.
By studying the blood-stain pattern, a forensic biologist can determine the attack site.
So, unfortunately, the blood splatter doesn't much help us, so they bring in the husband, and this is where I thought we learned some fascinating details about our victim, Anna Lunt. This was awesome. This was so good, because we learned a ton of stuff about her. Do you remember the important keys that we got from Joe Lunt? It was very much the information you would get from someone who's been married to someone for 40 years. I'll say that.
I don't remember. Like, 7 o'clock is when she knits.
Okay, this is a direct quote. She was, quote, fanatical about not answering the door if she didn't know who was there. So that's number 1.
His wife was fanatical about answering the door for anyone she wasn't expecting. even close relatives.
That she probably knew the person because there was no signs of a strug or anything.
No forced entry.
The use of the word fanatical I thought was wild to
Right.
lead off with.
Oh, you mean she doesn't want to let strangers into the house?
Yep.
And she's
Yeah.
crazy about that?
And then our second clue, she's a stickler about taking them shoes off, okay? And because she had her house slippers on, that tells Joe that she must have been home, settled, got her slips on, and then the doorbell rang. So that's information number 2. I mean, this is good stuff to know, right?
So the fact that she was found wearing her slippers pretty much ruled out that someone had followed her home and pushed their way in.
Now, this one is cool. This one I thought was dope. Because of her time in the war, she was very conservative with paper towel usage. How about this little scene? You remember this? They're like,
Which war?
I mean, well, is there a Canadian war I'm not thinking of?
No.
I don't know.
Because of her experience in the war, Anna Lund was extremely frugal. She would have never opened up a new roll as long as the existing one wasn't totally used up.
I mean, she was 64 in 92. But God, Kate, even the wars I'm thinking of were American wars. I don't know if they partied with them at all. What do you think?
I mean, I guess they're talking about World War II.
That's what I'm thinking. Was Canada involved in Vietnam at all?
I know.
I don't know. Do you know these? I don't know.
I don't know anything about the Canadian military's involvement anywhere
Zero.
at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm embarrassed at how little I know about American military history, let alone Canada's. It's like, what? No clue. So anyway, there was a brand new roll of paper towels on the counter. And so old husband Joe says, nope, she would have used the old one up first before she opened up a new one. These are all great little details.
I mean, this kind of solves it for them.
It sure does. So how did the killer know where the paper towels were? That's what Graham Greene suggests. And I'm going, well, they were under the sink, Graham.
How would the killer know where to look?
Right? I mean, I don't know. What do you think? You think someone needs to know the house to know where the paper towels are? What do you think?
No, they're probably somewhere in the kitchen, easily accessible, or sitting out on the counter in a dispenser of some kind. But
yeah, but
I get the point of only someone who knew the house could have done this, which would be the stepson.
Well, yeah, and that's who they want to talk to William Appleton again because they find out he had just been there the week before to do some stuff. Mm-hmm. And so they're thinking, okay, maybe it's this Appleton character because he definitely know where the paper towels are. They bring him in, and one part of the story that they did not mention up top, but I guess he did tell the cops this, is on his journey to the hardware store, he stopped by a liquor store to get some vodka, too. Mm-hmm. A little bit of a red flag here, Kate. A little bit of a red flag.
A little bit of a drinker.
Like the day of the murder, Appleton had said, hey, cops, do you need that empty bottle of vodka? Because I'll give it to you, no problem. Cops said, no, we're good. Don't worry about it. But now, 2 days later, the cops are going, we do want that bottle. We do want that vodka bottle. And what's Appleton say? He says, absolutely, officers, I'm coming over with it. And now little does Appleton know that our detective here, which we got to have a long talk about the detective, Matanovic, this guy was cracking the shit out of me, Kate. The shots of this Matanovic, the detective.
Novik.
No. Detective Matanovic. That's his last name. It's all one word.
Matanovic.
Yes. But the shots of him,
Detective Matanovic,
he was loving this. I don't think he's ever had more fun day at the office than this day. You agree with me here? Him shooting the shit. They're doing a lot of handheld stuff.
A lot of handheld OTS.
Yes.
That was so crazy. They wanted to make it feel like scripted or something.
Oh my God. Some of the setups, this is why I keep going back to the well of 90s true crime shows, because I love this stuff. When they seeing them try and be cinematic and stuff with talking heads. Oh my God, I just love it so much. It was truly handheld, like, and there's one part later when he does this. Tell me you saw the finger to the chin, Kate. This I remember from when I first watched this show 2 years ago. He goes, Okay, we're not there yet, we're there. So the cops ask Appleton to bring in the bottle, and Appleton's like, sure, I'm on my way. Now, bummer for Appleton. The cops have him under surveillance.
That is a bummer.
And he makes 2 stops before going to the cops. One is a container store. Okay, get a fresh container. Stop 2, vodka store. Gets a fresh bottle of vodka. And then while he's on the way to the police station, he's dumping the vodka into that container so that he now has an empty bottle of vodka.
Classic.
Oh, this
and they are watching him do this.
Appleton had been under surveillance the whole time.
How funny must that have been? They knew what the score was the second he walked out of the first store with a empty container. They're like, we know what this booze hound's gonna do. And look, I was there with him in the mentality. I was going, well, yeah, you don't want to waste that vodka.
Totally.
But she just dumped it. But he said, no, this vodka is gonna be fun later. That's like the true side of an alcoholic, where it's like, okay, I need this for my evidence, but like I can't just waste this vodka.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
Couldn't he just say, I don't have it anymore?
Yeah, and then he hands over the bottle, and this gets busted right away because Dum Dum gave them the bag he bought it in, and the cop, he goes, Friday the 13th got him, because the receipt for the bottle was that day, 2 days after the murder. How dumb is this guy?
Very dumb.
He's pretty stupid. Which is, okay, so, I mean, he can't be our killer, because remember, our killer is super smart.
Oh,
okay?
Sure.
The murder had been extremely clever.
So they search Appleton's car. What do you know? They find blood that belongs to Anna Lunt in the trunk and on the driver's side floor. So it's not looking good for Appleton. He says, you know what? Okay, here's the deal. Here's what really happened, officers.
And the story changes.
And now he says, I did go inside. The door was ajar, but I saw her all bloody and I ran out of there so I wouldn't get busted. So I then put my bloody clothes in the trunk. That's why my blood is on my trunk. Done and done there. And then I went and bought a new pair of jeans and then came back. That was part of his story, Kate, is that he left, bought new jeans, and came back. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think he's a murderer.
Stashed his blood-stained clothes in the trunk of the car and bought a new pair of jeans.
So the cops are listening to this and they're rolling their eyes. But as Graham Greene tells us, that is known as reasonable explanation. That's what they call it. Like, and we call it a hot load of BS. It's like, yeah, this is one of the few times I feel for law enforcement when they know something's bullshit, but they have to prove it otherwise. Right?
Yeah.
Because now they got to go back and prove why. Oh, well, according to him, the blood was there because he put his clothes back there. Blah, blah, blah.
That's got to be so annoying to be like, ugh,
Yeah.
really? You're going to make us jump through all these hoops just to prove what we all already know?
Yeah, yeah. And so, they're gathering up their evidence. And so now they're looking at what kind of financial situation is William Appleton in? Like, did he need the money for some reason? And we talked to, a forensic accountant. And this was my favorite B-roll of the night, Kate. Do you want to talk about this? Do you remember this?
No.
This forensic accountant. So everybody's got their thing. They got the blood expert guy. We got the bullet guy. They're all hands-on doing what they're good at. And poor old forensic accountant comes loaded with his laptop open, and we're seeing close-ups on a description of the guy's credit. It was like what? Like they showed close-ups of a pie, and he goes,
the shaded area being the amount of credit that he has used, and the black area, that little piece of the pie, is the unused credit.
Yeah, okay. I know how pie charts work. The fact that they were lining up a close-up on a credit pie chart, I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it.
Amazing.
Oh, and that was another one of those ones where it's like Dutch angle, but it's also like above, so he's kind of looking up. Like it felt real 90s style. When he's like,
yeah.
It was like talking like this. Yeah. Anyway, so that was great. I thought, boom, love it. So now they want to do a deep dive on the history of William Appleton. He was born in London, so they've got to go to England. And this is where my detective got to shine. And this is where he did the finger to the chin thing. He says there were 3 reasons why we had to go to England.
1, because it's fun.
1, didn't know enough about the accused. 2, we had to prove that he knew how to make a homemade gun. And 3, because that detective had never been to England and he wanted to go.
Okay, so I wasn't wrong with number 1.
You weren't. And he goes, and perhaps the most important reason is because I've never been to England and I really wanted to go. Like, he thought it was so funny.
And the third reason, probably the most important reason, is I've never been to England. So I wanted to go.
He's doing this. And anyway, that guy, God, did he have fun that day. I can't believe they left it in there, too. His whole setup, there's 3 reasons.
A woman is dead, and he's taking a vacation on Canada's dime.
Yeah, that's true. And they work hand in hand with Scotland Yard. And this is where we find out something they just leave in the dust, because they've only got 22 minutes, okay? But what did we find out about Appleton's first wife?
She's dead. Mysterious circumstances.
Yeah!
Appleton's first wife had died under mysterious circumstances.
What's going on there? That's all we got. His first wife died under mysterious circumstances. What were they?
I don't know, but he took that money.
Yeah. And so they I mean, they do their digging over there because they find out that he worked at like a shop. He was an apprentice to this dude. They find out that this guy there taught him how to make a homemade gun.
And as a lad, Appleton had apprenticed a machinist who had taught him how to build firearms.
How'd that conversation go? Like, do you think, what do you think? Because it wasn't at a gun shop. He worked at like an auto store or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or like a...
It's interesting because they don't have guns in England either.
Yeah.
So how does this just come up in conversation?
And why was the guy willing to talk about it? Like, if I was this shop owner and a cop came in from Canada going, hey, do you know how to make a homemade gun? I'd be going, dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. That's a piece of a pinball machine you're looking at over there. That's not a homemade gun. But they finally get it out of him. Then they go back while the detective's living it up in England, just out on the town. They go to Appleton's workplace at an aerospace firm. And ring the bell. Emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Really? I didn't hear it.
Aerospace firm.
Aerospace firm.
Another thing weird.
He'd found work at an aerospace firm.
So, count it. Sorry, Graham Greene. You busted. Busted. But speaking of busted, this super smart criminal that everybody's impressed with, what did they find in his notes on his workbench? What did they find there?
Was it like a how to kill somebody with...
It was like a diagram of the homemade gun.
Yeah.
It had like dimensions and everything.
Stupid.
I said they could well be rough drawings for a homemade firearm.
This guy.
It's my old rule, Kurt.
What's that?
Don't write down your crimes.
Done and done. Yeah. And why in this case? For the dimensions to remember like what parts to get or something? I don't know. What kind of... And then he leaves it at work.
You got to destroy it.
Well, I don't know what an aerospace firm is, but I feel like it's...
Aerospace engineering.
But I feel like you got to be kind of a smarty to get in there.
Yeah, you do. You have to be an engineer.
Yeah. But apparently this guy, as we already know, his credit was terrible. That was made very clear to us.
Because of the pie chart.
Because of the pie chart. And we learned that the Lunts were well off.
The Lunts had considerable money, and Elsa was their only child. In the event anything happened to them, Elsa would inherit it all.
He had motive. All these reasons are leaning towards him. This was a fun part for Graham Greene, is when they've got the diagram for the gun and everything. He goes, it certainly looks like a gun, but it don't mean a thing if it don't got that...
Spring?
Is that what he wanted? That's a great question. I couldn't fill in the blank.
Because they never filled in the blank, but then they show us the gun and it's spring loaded, so I assumed... It rhymes with spring.
But it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that.
I just let it go.
You're a genius. That's absolutely what it was.
I'm
glad you remembered that part because I was like, what? I don't understand what he's insinuating here. But spring, it totally makes sense.
Yeah. It was odd.
That's like a old-timey song, right? Like, what's the real word? If it don't got
mean
that...
a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Swing. There you go. Boy, you know who would have loved... that little reference. Murph Dog.
Oh, absolutely.
He'd have ate that up. He'd have been there high-fiving Graham Greene. Graham Greene would be going, Murph Dog, we're still shooting. Give me a minute. So they got plenty of evidence now. Now they arrest his ass at work. We take him to trial. Guilty. Life without parole in Canada, which means after 25 years, which means this guy's probably out right now. His trial was in 2001. Right? It's 24 years ago. I feel like...
Unless he's dead.
He probably got out like 10 years ago or something.
And then we learn that actually this idiot wanted to kill both his mother-in-law and his father-in-law. It's just that his father-in-law wasn't there and he expected him to be.
Yeah.
And then he says he got spooked by a paper delivery boy. So he was going to wait and hide and wait for the husband to come back, but then got spooked by this kid and left.
Yeah, and the kid said it was unusually quiet there. And how do you know? It's an old couple that you're delivering the paper to. What did it usually sound like in there?
Right, they're not like bumping crazy loud music. Was it just that typically he could see one of them or would like wave or something?
Maybe. Or possibly they listen to the TV hella loud. Maybe that was it.
Or it's bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, and the paper boy just said that just to... get involved in the story a little bit.
Yeah, or he never said anything, and these writers are just making so that it's interesting.
Well, I would like to think that the writers of Exhibit A wouldn't do that to us, Kate, but who knows, man? Who friggin' knows?
Appleton had been spooked by a local newspaper delivery boy who thought it strange that the house was so quiet.
I don't know if we ever saw a single real picture in here.
No.
The only one that would maybe be it was there's 2 pictures of Anna Lunn in the beginning and one with her husband. But I think even those were posed. I'm not sure we saw a single real photograph.
I don't think so. It's not the Canadian way.
Usually, if there's not a single actual footage moment in a show, that to me, you're off my list. You're not worth my time. But they interviewed the people involved with the case, and we saw them. So, like, they did the heavy lifting on that end. I was dying for a pic of the guy. We didn't even get, like, a mugshot at the end or something.
No, we didn't.
All right, well, I guess that brings us to our lists. What do you got?
Kate's unnamed list. Well, we had a lot of talk about missing pieces of the puzzle.
Now, Kate, it's funny you bring that up, because if you remember, that's on my list now, dog.
I thought Needle in a Haystack went to your list.
No, they both did. You said both when you handed them over. I said, do you want one and I'll take the other? And you said both. Do you want it? Because this is perhaps the longest we have ever spent talking about a puzzle in this episode, right?
They just kept going on and on about it.
Yeah.
All the different pieces.
Oh my God. This is that guy, and he's like, and you take the box and you turn it upside down and stuff falls out, and then you take all the little pieces and then you put them together, and then when they're together, it makes a picture. And then we look at that picture and it could tell us something to do with the story. That's literally what he's going on about.
Thanks, Guy.
You have little pieces of a puzzle, and you start gathering all these little pieces of that puzzle. And
it's like anything. If you have a box and you open up and you get the puzzle, you throw it onto a table and you say, well, what have I got here? Well, you're going to have to start looking at every piece to see what it means and put it together. And by the time you put it together, you're going to get a picture. And that picture will tell you a story.
And that's exactly what happened here.
Each piece by itself may not mean much, but combine the hundreds of pieces and a picture emerges.
This was a hell of a puzzle piece.
Well, I would like to take it for this one because it's the only thing on my list.
Cool. That works. Now, you can have it and I'll take Needle. It's up to you.
Okay.
All right, so now you got puzzle. Sweet. On to Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
Some good ones here. No. Puzzle was one. Number 2, Friday the 13th movie mention. Somehow. Because of the receipt in the bag. That was a little iffy too, but I was like, you brought a movie into it, dude.
Yeah, whatever.
So, yeah, I welcome it.
Friday the 13th came to haunt him. This was the bottle that he purchased back on November the 11th on Wednesday. He left the receipt in the bag, dated Friday the 13th.
I believe that is it for my list. Should we recap what the lists are now that this new Premi? What do you think?
Yeah.
The lists are things that we're looking for when we're watching shows like this. Like there's stuff that happens all the time. Like there's cliches of shows like this, and some of them make us laugh. Or we each have our own separate list. What are a few of your hits, Kate? What are you looking for?
Mine's got a small town, the kind of town where things like this just don't happen. Spoiler, it's always where they happen.
Yeah.
Someone's in the military. Somebody has a connection to Florida.
Yeah. 0 Florida in this baby.
It's all Canada.
0. Yeah. Wait, what else you got? You got people crying.
I got people crying and saying they're sorry, like in an interview setting, and then they keep talking. But they have to do that pause and they tear up.
Yeah.
Little catch in their throat.
Yeah.
And I also have a car. If a notable car makes an appearance or helps them solve the case, that's on the list.
Yeah. That's when Car Kate comes in here, beep beep, and gives us the lowdown. I'm not sure Car Kate's ever liked. Has Car Kate yet to find a car she liked? I feel like anytime the cars are special enough to get mentioned, they're trashy.
Oh, always. Because murderers have trashy cars. I think there was one Atlanta one where I wasn't mad at it because...
Oh, the Lotus? You don't like Lotuses.
No.
It can't be that one.
It wasn't a Lotus. It was like the car that had the headlight out.
Of course. Okay.
It was an Infiniti, I think.
It was an Infiniti. Absolutely. And you spotted it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good call. So that's what's on your list. And then some of the hits on mine are when they say stuff like, when it's an old case and they say, so we didn't have cell phones like we do now. Like whenever they Whenever they talk about the tech that they didn't have back then. DNA, too. This was 1982, mind you, so we didn't know what DNA was.
DNA was only in its infancy. I mean, it's not like it was.
Yeah. Along the same lines of when they talk about how crimes are covered on fictional shows. That's on my list. When they go, on TV it's done in an hour. But in real life, it takes like 2 months. Right? That's also something they do a bunch of. What else we got? Aha moment. When they say aha moment, stuff like that. What are like my big ones?
Signs of a strug.
Oh, of course. How could I forget the most important? When they say signs of a struggle. That's on my list.
Signs of a struggle.
Signs of a struggle.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our first episode of our new revamped show, True Crime Cleanup on ILH. How you feel about it, Kate? We got one in the can. You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. Very excited.
I would say socials here, but I guess those will change once I switch everything. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Future Kurt, you want to hop in and say that stuff? Future Kurt here with handle updates. Username on YouTube is True Crime Cleanup. Username on Instagram is True Crime Cleanup. And also, I would just like to say that as Future Kurt, I feel like maybe we should be saying blood spatter experts instead of blood splatter. But in defense of current Kurt and current Kate, they both are things. Splatter has more to do with the direction, and spatter might be overall. Whatevs. So roast us if you want. Mostly roast Kate, because it'll really bug her. I'm okay being a dum-dum. Current Kurt, is okay being a dum-dum. Future Kurt, smart as hell. Back to it. Thank you. And on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
Detective Matanovic